Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a Last of Us prequel. Sony also giving us an update on God of War Laufey, and we'll be talking about Kingdom Hearts 4. We've got a really big update there. But let's jump into our first news story, which is the Last of Us prequel. So Insider Gaming sat down with Troy Baker and they had a lot to talk about. Most importantly, where the next Last of Us game goes. My idea for the next Last of Us title wouldn't be a continuation of where we all left things in 2020's The Last of Us Part 2, but instead it would be a prequel title taking us back to before Ellie was even born. I'm talking about a blast from the past, a trip back to see Joel and Tommy surviving the earlier years of the apocalypse side by side. Then he asked Troy if he'd be on board for something like that, and he gave a very clear answer. In quotes, "I would be on board with anything. If Neil decides that he has a place for me, then I've learned at this point to listen to him because he's really smart. There's this beautiful thing about the mystery of what happened between Tommy and Joel, and there's all the time, the 20 years, you've got such beautiful lore to choose from. I think that makes a great foundation for a story." And honestly, I'm actually okay with this. I think that a prequel would be a fantastic break from what we got with The Last of Us Part 2, which there was a lot of controversy around it. Of course, the gameplay was phenomenal. The animation, it was pretty much praised across the board for most things, the story being one of the most controversial things here. But honestly, I think that going backwards, giving us a prequel of what happens between that time, between Part 1 and the death of his daughter, spoiler alert, would be very interesting. So I'm all on board for that idea. I do want to see them do that. Of course, time will tell whether they do that at all. I think The Last of Us is going to be on hiatus for a while. I think that we're not going to see Part 3 for quite some time between Intergalactic and just the time that they're going to need to put together a follow-up to The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, it's going to be some time for sure in between these projects. Now, if you're enjoying today's video and you want to keep up to date with all the latest and greatest in gaming news, reviews, guides, all that stuff, consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video with a friend. Now let's talk about our next news story, which comes from Santa Monica Studio, and they say on Twitter, "See you at San Diego Comic-Con. Join us for our God of War Laufey panel featuring game director Ariel Lawrence, moderator and head of creative Corey Barlog, and members of the cast for behind-the-scenes stories, details about our new heroes, and more." And then they have a second tweet here that says, "We can confirm God of War Laufey will be available on disc," which only tells us the obvious, that it's got to be coming out before January 2028, since that is when the mandate goes through, that they will not be printing any more games on discs that release after that date. So people are pretty happy about hearing that this game is dropping in 2027, that it'll be on disc, but naturally the entire drama around Sony abandoning disc-based games has not gone well. People are still upset about it, there's lawsuits happening, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. I think that that will be something people continue to protest, which I think that you should absolutely protest the things you disagree with, because the only way you're going to get the results you want is to let them know that you are not happy, whether that be monetarily and with your words as well. So absolutely support you guys going out there saying what you got to say. And I am also in disagreement with Sony discontinuing disc-based games. But going back to this game dropping in 2027, I mean, we've talked about this thoroughly. You know, Jason Schreier said that this game was coming in early 2027 or first half. You know, Nate the Hate has also said it. It seems like we're pretty well going to expect this game during that time. When they decide to announce it, I could see this being a Game Awards announcement, or maybe PlayStation has a state of play somewhere along the road to reveal more information about this game. But it's good news. I think I'm very happy with the prospects of seeing this game drop in 2027, and I think it's very viable that they could do that. It makes sense. The game seems pretty far along, and they showed us quite a lot. But let me know how you guys are feeling about this. Will you be buying this game on disc? Will you be buying this game at all? Are you still protesting Sony's decision to stop physical games? Let me know down below. Now, next we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 4. We got a new update here. Disney has announced a specific panel dedicated to the franchise ahead of its official 25th anniversary next year. The original game launched in 2002, and the panel title is Deep Dive into Kingdom Hearts, and they say join us for a journey through light and darkness as we commemorate 25 years of Kingdom Hearts, discover how this saga united Disney, Pixar, and Square Enix with insights from the creative minds, character voices, and more behind the magic. And the event date is D23, which is scheduled to take place next month, from August 14th to August 16th, 2026. Look, this is not a guarantee that we get more Kingdom Hearts 4. We got something at the Nintendo Direct, which was just like mind-blowing. We were not expecting that to happen. But I do think that there is a chance for Kingdom Hearts 4 to be shown. I don't think, like, just like there was a chance, I guess, for Nintendo Direct to have it, here we are at, D23, and it seems like the perfect place for them to give us a little more. I'd love for them to talk about when we could expect this game, give us a release window, which we've heard some talks about this being a 2027 title alongside FF7 Revelation, which, again, according to Square Enix's fiscal calendar, I think that could happen and hit 2 different years on their calendar. So I do think that that's plausible, and who knows, maybe we do get a release window for this at D23. But then again, I also feel like, where else would they announce this? Disney is very, very deeply ingrained in the Kingdom Hearts IP, and they have a lot of control and say over the Kingdom Hearts IP. And I feel like if anyone's going to announce it, it might just be them, man. It might just be them because, Square Enix has gone away from being a PlayStation third-party exclusive type of deal. Like, they're just not really doing that anymore. They didn't even show us Kingdom Hearts at a PlayStation event. So it seems like Square Enix wants to, get away from that, get away from the Sony affiliation, and they're trying to go into a direction where they can show their games everywhere and make it clear that their games are going to be everywhere. So D23 might be the best location for it. But let me know what you guys think about all this. Do you think we'll be getting Kingdom Hearts 4 at D23? And do you think we could get a release date at that time as well? Now, lastly, we're going to be talking about comment of the day. You guys left a ton of comments on our last video. Of course, there was a lot of discussion and discourse about what's happening with PlayStation's decision to stop physical games. And I feel like we're going to be talking about this for a while. So, you may as well get used to it if you're not already. But this one comes from @KNLeonHart, who says, as of this day, I no longer believe in the gaming industry as a positive force in optimism, creative freedom, and goodwill. And honestly, I kind of resonate with this as well, because I do feel like as of late, as of the last generation, and of course, even I would say some of the PS4 generation, it seemed like everybody was just trying to make the most money possible. And you might think, well, that's obvious, but it was also, I believe, at the detriment of creativity and doing things that were outside the box and being more creative, just in the medium in general. I feel like we got a lot of games that didn't really have that creative aspect that made people want to keep playing. Look at Highguard, look at Concord, look at any number of these live service games that completely failed, and they continue to go into this direction of creating live service games. So on top of that, you put this whole idea that, these guys are going away from physical media. It just another layer on top of what already feels like a grim future for gaming. But not to say that there aren't great games coming, but of course, naturally, some of these news topics that come out are very disappointing, and it's hard to overlook that. So I don't blame him for feeling that way, and I think a lot of people do feel that way right now as far as the games industry goes. There are select outliers that continue to innovate, continue to do very creative things, but it's very few that are doing that. But let me know what you guys think about that. And of course, if you guys want to be featured in the comment of the day, be sure to leave a comment. We do comment of the day every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. We missed last week for a couple days only because we had a lot of review content. We had a lot of embargo drops. We had a lot of guides to make, and we still have some guides coming out soon. So forgive me on missing those specific days, but we're back on schedule here, and you can expect another video on Thursday. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Please consider hitting that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and share the video with a friend. I'll talk to you all on the next one. Take care.